These three students moved to a fairly large house. In that house, they hoped that joy would come to them, especially since Christmas was coming soon. But it turned out they were not alone, and that house was their home. At the beginning of the film, there was a young man and two young women who had just moved into a fairly large house. Chris, Alex, and Jennifer went up to the attic of the house to see what items were there. The room looked dark and there was no lighting at all. Many dolls and old items were stored and abandoned in the attic. But there was one that caught their attention. There was a large box covered with books and nailed. They tried to open the large box and found a doll that said Finley. It seemed like the doll had been in the attic for a long time, but why did the box have to be nailed? Is there something bad about him? Even though it looks a bit scary, Chris apparently likes Finley because he used to dream of becoming a puppeteer. Alex and Jennifer didn't seem to like Finley, so it was better for them to leave Finley there and put him back in the box without nailing it back. That night they all rested, but Jennifer felt there was something in the attic because it made a knocking sound. Jennifer carefully tried to see what was happening, and it turned out that Chris also realized it. Armed with a baseball bat, Chris slowly approached the attic stairs that were still open. But suddenly, the knocking sound disappeared. Then the noise came back until Chris went upstairs, while Jennifer went into Alex's room, hoping Chris was okay. The noise and Chris's slowly disappeared. Alex and Jennifer heard the sound of footsteps heading towards their room, and it turned out to be Chris carrying a mouse. They thought it was a thief or a burglar, but it turned out to be a small mouse. Jennifer closed the attic stairs, then she tried to sleep again. But suddenly she heard a strange sound in her room, and it turned out to be Finley. Jennifer didn't feel anything strange, so she put Finley outside the room. In the morning, they had breakfast together, but Jennifer was surprised to see Finley at the dining table with Chris and Alex. Jennifer accused Chris of putting Finley in her room last night, but Chris denied it because he didn't do it. That morning, Chris left for campus first, while Alex and Jennifer were still at home. Besides that, they were also accompanied by their cat in the house. When Alex was arranging kitchen utensils, including knives and toasters, Finley's eyes seemed to glance at those things. What do you think he would do? After breakfast, Jennifer did her own activities. When Jennifer tidied up her clothes, she didn't see Finley at the dining table. Where was he? Then when Jennifer was in Jennifer's room, Finley attacked her with a kitchen knife. Finley ran towards her. Then Jennifer kicked him and managed to escape. Because his action failed, Finley now targeted Alex, who was taking a bath. Finley scared Alex by putting the toaster in her bathtub. But nothing happened because the electricity was not connected. Was this some kind of joke, or did Finley fail to carry out his action to finish them off? Because of that incident, Alex called Chris to come home immediately. Chris came and called Finley, while not believing that the doll could scare Alex and Jennifer. Chris went into his room and started looking for Finley. Finley was ready to harm Chris using a baseball bat on the stairs, but again, he failed. 3 months later, the three of them have now started to get used to Finley's behavior and naughtiness. For them, Finley is not a threat. But Finley still keeps trying bad things to them. For example, this time he wanted to poison their food, but was reprimanded by Alex until Chris sprayed water on Finley, then he ran away and dropped the rat poison. The next day, Finley still tried again. This time, he wanted to finish Chris by covering his face with a plastic bag, but still failed because Chris could still breathe. Chris scolded Finley, then he went into the house. This is like a father scolding his naughty child. Finley still doesn't give up on doing bad things to them. This time, he messed up Alex's room, dropping a lot of marbles and making a nail trap in the hope that Alex would get caught in the trap and get hurt. But, unfortunately, the plan failed again. Finley got scolded by Alex again. That night, Finley made something more extreme. This time, he aimed an arrow at Chris that had been prepared. Finley was sure he succeeded this time. At first, he heard Alex's scream and was sure that the arrow hit Chris. But it turned out that it failed again. The arrow stuck in the ceiling of the house. Meanwhile, Alex was angry because their cat defecated on the carpet. Not wanting to see his cat friend being kicked out and tortured by them, Finley finally lied that he was the one responsible for the dirt. Finley was told to smell the dirt, and then Chris asked him to go up to the attic and return to his box. Finley said goodbye to the cat, then he went into the box with tears coming out. Maybe he was very sad because his plan failed. Until one quiet night, Chris woke up because he heard a strange sound from the first floor. Chris came down and saw the front door open. He thought maybe Jennifer or Alex forgot to close the door. Then, from behind it, turned out there were thieves who entered their house. There were 2 thieves and started to tie them up. Alex and Jennifer's screams made Finley wake up from his box. Finley saw Chris and the others being beaten by the thieves. The thief's goal was to take valuables, but one of them wanted to take advantage of Alex. Not long after, the electricity suddenly went out, and there was a loud noise from the attic. One of the thieves was told to check what was happening there. The thief started to climb to the attic and saw nothing suspicious, only a few dolls in Finley's face. As soon as the thief let his guard down and turned around, Finley started to act and taught the thief a lesson. Finley was so brutal that he finished off the thief in the same way he wanted to harm Chris and the others. The screams and noise made the other thief find out. Finley fired an arrow at him and hit him in the leg. Not only that, Finley also lured the thief into the bathroom and had prepared another trap for him. All the traps that Finley made were successful and made the thief helpless until he died. Finley, who was supposed to harm Chris and the others, actually became a savior. Christmas finally arrived. Finley is now part of them. Even Finley also got a new Christmas outfit. But when they drank the drink that had been prepared, it tasted quite strange. They started staring at Finley. Maybe he put poison in it. And finally, the film ended.